Greetings and welcome to the Beacon Unitarian Universalist congregation. To our members, our friends, and all others who are watching this virtual worship service on our YouTube channel. Whoever you are and whomever you love, you are welcome here. I'm the Reverend Robin Landerman Zucker, the minister of this congregation, and I'll be hosting the service today with our music director, Gabriel Hernandez, and our accompanist, Rebecca Prizznick. If you'd like to participate more fully in the service, please pause the video, go to our website, beaconuu.com, where you can download an order of service and follow along with the unison readings and the congregational singing. This congregation is spiritually open and intentionally inclusive. Our members and friends bring many interests, theologies, and viewpoints. Here, you can trust that you will find a common desire for meaningful community and spiritual growth, and for relevant religious exploration. Membership in this congregation is open to anyone who chooses to walk with us in the spirit of love and in a search for truth. As Gabe lights the chalice, the symbol of our free faith, please light your own chalice or candle at home as we recite the unison words found in your order of service. Deep calls unto deep, joy calls unto joy, light calls unto light. Let this flame kindle in us the inner light of love, of peace, of hope. And as one flame lights another, nor grows the less, we pledge ourselves to be bearers of light wherever we go. Our opening words today are by my colleague, the Reverend Victoria Safford, a reading called, Whose Are You? Who carries you in their heart, thinks of you, whether you think of them or not. Whose are you? Who are your people, the ones who make a force field you can almost touch? Whose are you? Who is within your circle of concern? Whose are you? To whom are you responsible? Accountable, whose care is yours to provide? Whose are you? When you look in the mirror in the morning, whose bones do you see? Whose blood runs in your veins? Who are those people stretching back in time beyond memory? Where did you come from? Whose are you? When you walk out of your room, out of your house into the sunlight of the day, to whom in this wide world do you belong? Where is your allegiance? By whom are you called? Whose are you? At the end of the day, through the longest night, in the valley of the shadow of death and despair, who holds your going in and coming out, your waking and your sleeping? Who, what holds you in the hollow of its hand? Whose are you?
Hi folks, our first hymn is going to be Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. The words are printed on your order of service. Please rise and body your spirit as you're willing and able. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open reciting the mission and covenant of Beacon. The mission of Beacon Unitarian Universalist Congregation is to be a welcoming community that embraces diverse thought and belief and builds a just, peaceful, and compassionate world. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in kindness, thus do we covenant.
Coming together in worship gives us the opportunity to share briefly with one another significant life events that weigh us down or lift us up. We call these joys and sorrows. It's how we connect with one another, how we aid our healing and multiply our joy. These joys and sorrows are held in sacred community, even during this time of distancing, for safety. Gabe will drop a stone into the water for each of the joys and sorrows that we name. I've not received any specific joys and sorrows this week, so I will have us put one in, of course, for all of the people in the world who are actually suffering from the coronavirus and their families. We send our love and light to them. We also put a stone in for the care that we want to send to everyone on the planet who is worried, who is confused, and who is now separated from loved ones, trying to keep themselves safe. We put a stone of love and care in for them. We put in a stone of joy for all of the humor that has come forward in this situation that reminds us that we are resilient as human beings and we can still find ways to laugh and connect even in a challenging time. I'll have Gabe put one in for all of the sorrows that remain unspoken and all the joys because they are too personal or too tender to share. Let us remember that everyone is fighting their own private battle. We know not what it is, but because we're human, we know it to be true. So let us be kind, compassionate, flexible, and forgiving with one another. Now is the time in the service when we settle into a quieter, meditative space. So I invite you to find a comfortable position, put your feet on the floor, put down your papers, uncross your arms, close your eyes, and just notice the space around you, the ambient sound, and breathe. 4 beats in through your nose, 4 beats out through your mouth, and just a very gentle stream of air. Breathe and allow. Relax your body, feeling where you're holding tension, and imagine creating spaciousness inside you. A spaciousness for love, a spaciousness for feeling safety in this time when we're all fearful, a spaciousness for peace. Begin at the top of your head, moving down to your neck, and then your chest, your torso, your legs, and your feet. Breathing relaxation and spaciousness into those parts of your body. Breathe and allow. Then begin by silently saying this phrase to yourself. I choose ease. Thank you for my life. And breathe. Drop it into your consciousness like you're dropping a pebble into a pond, allowing the mind to do whatever it does. You don't need to coordinate the phrase with your breath. I choose ease. Thank you for my life. Breathe and allow. Move on to the next phrase. I choose peace. Thank you for my life. Avoid the tendency to speed up and move too fast. This is a meditation after all. It's not about seeing how many pebbles you can throw into the water. The idea is to allow each phrase to hang in your awareness, to become real, one pebble at a time, observing the ripple it creates. Observe your thoughts and feelings without managing them. Stop and feel. Breathe and allow. Move on to the final phrase. I choose joy. Thank you for my life. Breathe and allow. And then repeat the series. I choose ease. I choose peace. I choose joy. Thank you for my life. Stop and feel. Breathe and allow. Thank you for my life. Let us be silent together.
And now we'll sing the meditation on breathing. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
Our reading today is a poem called I Know a Place by Martha Kurtz Hogan. I know a place where calm is, where the rain comes and refreshes the earth in the cool of the day, in the quiet of the evening. I know a place where light is, where the lamp warms the house and the candle never flickers, in the chill of the night, in the darkness of the evening. I know a place where love is, where the mother holds the child and cradles it in singing, in the quiet of the night, in the shadows of the evening. I know a place. I will not leave it. I will rise in the morning. I will dance in the dayshine. I will stretch forth my arms at noon and lift up my voice at twilight. In the glare of the day, in the coolness of the evening, I will sing, I know a place.
This week's musical interlude comes from us from the Broadway show, Dear Evan Hansen. I hope you enjoy You Will Be Found. Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? reach out your hand, and oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the light come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. Oh, you will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found.
My sermon today is entitled, You Will Be Found, the Need to Belong and the Power of Tribes. In the town of Omelas, everybody has what they need. There is no hunger, no war, no violence, no inequity. People do not raise their voices in anger or feel despair. People are happy and they're sophisticated. They are bland utopians. The science fiction writer Ursula Le Guin takes us to this odd village in her extraordinary short story entitled The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. She writes, "Oh miracle, I wish I could convince you. Omelas sounds in my words like a city in a fairy tale, long ago and far away once upon a time. Perhaps it would be best if you imagined it as your own fancy bids, assuming it will rise to the occasion." This fable takes place during the festival of summer. Sweet perfume fills the air. Lilting flute music can be heard along the winding lanes. But there is a dirty little disclaimer to all of this bliss. Le Guin explains, in a basement under one of the most beautiful public buildings in Omelas, or perhaps in the cellar of one of its spacious private homes, there is a tiny room. It has one locked door and no window. The floor is dirt and damp to touch, and in that room, the child is sitting. It could be a girl or a boy. It looks about 6, but actually is nearly 10. It is feeble-minded. The door is always locked, and people seldom come. Sometimes the child who can remember sunlight speaks. "Please let me out. I will be good." But they never answer. Le Guin continues, "They all know it's there. All the people of Omelas. They all know it's there, that it has to be there. Some of them understand why, because their happiness, the beauty of their city, the tenderness of their friendships, the health of their children, the wisdom of their scholars, the abundance of their harvest depends wholly on this one child's abominable misery." The terms are strict and absolute. There may not be even one kind word spoken to the child. Often when this Faustian bargain is explained to them at age 10 or so, the children of the village react in disgust and rage. They may brood over it for weeks, but then they become convinced that this arrangement offers the greatest good for the greatest number. Sort of perverse twist on the Millian ideal. The wretchedness of the child, they reason, awakens their compassion and their nobility. that it's because of the suffering child that they can be so gentle with their own children. Yet, sometimes one of the adolescents or adults who learns about this child, they do not go home to cry or rage about it. Sometimes, writes Le Guin, they go out into the street and they walk straight out of the town of Omelas. They keep walking and walking. The place they go towards is unknown, but they seem to know where they're going, the ones who walk away from Omelas. What a timeless short story. The ones who walk away from Omelas could just no longer bear the chilling, unjust quid pro quo. It was too high a price to pay for harmony, or at least what passed as harmony. As Le Guin herself asks somewhat rhetorically in a commentary on the story, she says, how hideous a thing would be its enjoyment when deliberately accepted as the fruit of such a bargain. Literature is full of cautionary tales about utopias, and like all such places, Omelas possesses an unreality, existing as it does at that intersection between fantasy and travesty. Orwell's Animal Farm in 1984, Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, Huxley's Brave New World. More recently, we've been captivated by the Hunger Games, Ready Player One, and the Divergent series. And in my view, utopias, evil or benign, are misguided particularly and primarily because they micromanage all of the creative enterprise out of the human endeavor of being together in community, in our inherent tribes and our chosen ones. For as we well know, we're certainly seeing it up close now, life is messy. We're messy. Human beings are messy. At home, at work, in relationships, here at church. I'm reminded of a classic Bissell vacuum cleaner commercial. Life is messy. Clean it up. That's a pretty darn good definition of the utopian goal. A cleaned up, sanitized world. One we surely don't recognize today in this very real world of the coronavirus crisis. Of course, we Americans hold very differing views about the ideal society, and that divide gets wider every single day. For some, utopia seems to come through things like burning books or restricting reproductive rights or detaining immigrants. And for others, it's created through peacemaking and protest and conflict resolution, promoting diversity and democracy and sharing resources and hope. And as we well know, America is consumer-driven, and we're sold utopian dreams through merchandising. Buy me, and your life will be better. Drink me, and your love life will flourish. Drive me, and your life will be perfect. Friend me, and you'll have self-esteem. Facebook is Shangri-La. Disney World is Brigadoon. Amazon is our on-time delivery savior. But if we stop to examine the word utopia, we get quite a jolt. It doesn't mean quite what we thought. Utopia, from the Greek, 2 words meaning not and a place, literally means not a place, nowhere. Or as Gertrude Stein quipped when asked about Los Angeles, there is no there. So by its very nature, utopia is actually a dystopia, a dysfunctional non-place. What is our sense of where right now as we shelter in place, physically distanced from our regular routines and familiar places? The Western ideal of utopia originates in the ancient world, where legends of an earthly paradise lost to history, Eden in the Old Testament, and the mythical golden age of Greek mythology, was grafted onto the human desire to recreate an ideal society. The Greek philosopher Plato sketched a human utopian society and republic where he imagined the ideal Greek city-state, with communal living among the ruling class, perhaps based on the model of the ancient Greek city of Sparta. Certainly the English statesman Sir Thomas More had Plato's republic in mind when he wrote the book Utopia in 1516. He described a perfect political and social system on an imaginary island. The term utopia entered the English language meaning any place, state, or situation of ideal perfection. However, as often happens, More's utopia unravels in real time, which soon is beset with problems of its own. America has had its own share of quixotic utopian experiences. The Shakers, the Oneida, the Ephrata, the Amana communities among them. These were people who were trying to set themselves above and apart from culture. And Unitarians, they took a shot at it too. From 1841 to 47, a group of transcendentalists, led by George Ripley, experimented in plain living and self-reliance at Brook Farm, 200 acres in West Roxbury, Massachusetts. It began with 15 members and never contained more than 150 people. Bronson Alcott, Louisa May's brother, tried to get Fruitlands off the ground in Harvard, Massachusetts. But these nobly envisioned collectives ultimately failed, in part because they couldn't be self-sustaining and they weren't grounded in the messiness of reality. Now, for many, finding a modern-day Unitarian Universalist congregation like Beacon can elicit a giddy excitement at finding the promised land. I hear it regularly when I visit with newcomers. We UUs tuning in today may have mistakenly believed initially that they were being welcomed into some sort of religious utopia. Even if that idea ended up being shaken, and I presume it did, you have not walked away, but instead have settled on a belief that you have found a good religious fit, a place of belonging, and you're still here. And most likely that swoony in loveness sensation morphed into something more sane and balanced and grounded as you've come to see Beacon as the perfectly imperfect tribe for you. And rightly so. And we're all glad you're here. But being part of this community will not make your life perfect. You probably already know that. Joining Beacon will not shield you from pain or suffering or disappointment or grief or this terrifying virus, but you will not be alone. Social science tells this very simple truth. Belonging helps us survive. This is not Omelas with its cruel equations. We are a supportive, reciprocal tribe. And belonging to a tribe like Beacon is a game changer because we humans, we're created for connection. And here we share the common task of shouldering pain and joy, freedom and good stewardship. And our mission isn't to live in a kind of bland contentment or to exist as a church apart or against or above culture. On the contrary, our stated mission is to be what the theologian Reinhard Niebuhr calls a church in culture, a religious community grounded in the real world. Our very survival depends upon our finding our way to the heart of compassion, where it hurts, where we feel real feelings like pain, fear, confusion, and contempt. It defies sameness, blandness, flatness. Our health and our future as a congregation depend on supporting this tribe where we find ourselves now with our time, our talent, and our treasury. When I picture your faces, you good folk who experience Beacon as a tribe grounded in covenantal ideals, I'm reminded of a meditation by the Reverend Victoria Safford, who wrote our opening words, called, "Why Do You Come, John?" She writes, "I knew a man once who came to church every Sunday, and because of hearing loss, more than a sense of his own importance, he always sat in the front row. I asked him, 'Why do you come, John? In all kinds of weather, when you're well and when you're not, when you like the guest speaker or the sermon topic, and when you don't?' His answer was straightforward. 'I come,' he said, 'because someone might miss me if I didn't.' He worked hard on Sundays to make other people feel at home, to feel that they belonged to a tribe. And he was right. The Sunday after his memorial service, someone walked right in and sat down in his empty place in the front row. They came hoping there was room, and John himself would have been the most delighted." So why do you come to Beacon? Here on North LaRue Street or here on our YouTube channel? Why do you come? Do you come to be found? To belong? To sustain a tribe? In a reflection for the UU Journal Quest entitled "My Tribe," Cassandra Gill Fisher, an artist from South Bend, Indiana, captures the many genuine and connective aspects of this tribal paradigm. Speaking of her UU church, she writes, "My tribe is the people I stand next to while I cook, while I work, while I play, while I mourn, while I grow, who stand next to me. Life comes at us one moment after the next, and how we respond defines us. My tribe is not all people I like. It is not all people I agree with or even get along with. There are people I love dearly who I cannot stand to be in the same room with for very long. But those moments that come at us change everything. Aren't we experiencing that right now? Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes startling, but there is always change. A deeper smile line, a scar, a learning, a work of art. My tribe is not a still pond, she says. Some days it rages and thrashes like the ocean in a storm. Some days it is all four seasons at once. We are many and varied and ever changing, and we are doing it together here on this planet. We may not always be entirely happy about it. Hell, some days, some moments, it's absolutely infuriating to be human. But I am. We are. Together. Friends, this is no time for what our UUA president, Susan Frederick Gray, calls a casual faith. As a tribe, we are self-sustaining. It may not be in animal pelts or game meats or potatoes, hand-woven cloth or medicinal herbs, but self-sustaining we are. And if we are not willing to support the tribe, it will perish. When the tribe is placed before the individual, the community thrives. As needed, members of the tribe sit in a circle face to face, and they resolve and repair what is torn. And we must do the same with our communitarian values. I ask you today to support one another by staying connected by whatever means are available to you in this odd time of social distancing, by phone, FaceTime, Facebook, letters, emails. And I ask you to support our Beacon tribe with donations and pledges, especially during this challenging time. Ask yourself what you spend $10 a week on that you might forego to support your tribe and sustain this place where you have been found. You'll now find a donate button on our website where you can make secure, remote contributions to the weekly offering or make pledge payments. Utopia means not a place. Yet I know a place, a real flesh and blood place, this place. In the words of poet Martha Kurtzhogan, a place where love is, a place where light is. I know a place, I will not leave it. A place where the sidewalk ends and the grass is green. A place where you can be found when the dark comes crashing through and you need a friend to carry you. This place where we strive to create beloved community with what we've got, a tribe of real, messy people feeling real, messy feelings. Beacon may not be Shangri-La, thank goodness for that. If we were, we would be separate, a church apart from culture, but we're not, and we choose not to be. We're a tribe grounded in this world, broken and wondrous as it is, striving to make it better. That mission, that enduring truth, makes this a place of hope and connection that few of us would casually walk away from. And so may it be. Blessed be, blessed we, and amen.
And now for our last hymn, Spirit of Life, which is in your order of service. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
It's the tradition for us to come together in a circle holding hands at the end of our worship services. Of course, we cannot do that now that we are in physical distancing, but I would like us to imagine the joining of our hands since we are Beacon, always connected. So let us have a moment of sensing our connection from afar. And now as Gabe extinguishes the chalice, please join me in reciting the unison benediction in your order of service. Now go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings. We also take part in a weekly offering as a way of affirming our gratitude and practicing generosity. Your financial contributions support the mission and ministry of Beacon and our community partners. Especially during this time of virtual worship, we ask that you please make a secure donation to the virtual plate offering through the donate button on the beaconuu.com homepage, or You can send a check to Beacon and put offering in the note. And now be well, stay safe, and remember, we are Beacon, always connected. Blessed be, blessed we. Amen.
In a world of chaos, we hope that you find our postlude, You'll Never Walk Alone, comforting, and we hope that it touches your soul and brings you some relief in this trying time.